The 2022 World's runner-up ended up playing in a really stacked invitational with some of the best European players in their world and was able to get second place in that invitational, featuring Miraidon and Ho-Oh. We're going to be trying out the duo once again and seeing how well it can perform. This is Cassie's Miraidon Ho-Oh team. Let's break it down. First up, we have the Covert Cloak Miraidon to prevent secondary effects like the Fake Out Flinch and like any stat drops like Icy Wind Speed Drop or Snarl Special Attack Drop with the Hadron Engine to summon the electric terrain and boost the Miraidon's special attack damage output with the Terra Electric to boost up its electric attacks even further with the Electric Drift Volt Switch Draco Meteor Protect. It's a pretty standard Miraidon for the most part, the ones that actually do run Protect. The Covert Cloak on Miraidon is just a useful item, even in a open team sheet setting, which I believe the Invitational was held in. It is able to prevent those fake outs from affecting the Miraidon and allow Miraidon to really be just free in order to just dish out a ton of damage across the board. UV Spread, this is a bulkier Miraidon with 164 HP, 20 defense, 4 special defense, 108 speed, and 212 special attack with Modest Nature. It's really just able to hit hard, and it really needs to have a lot of investment because this Miraidon doesn't have the power of a Choice Specs or Life Orb or even Magnet that we sometimes see. So you really want to invest a good amount of special attack. 108 speed with a Modest Nature does allow it to outspeed max speed Landorus Incarnate, so that is pretty important. And yeah, across the board, it's just supposed to be a bulkier Miraidon that's able to hit hard. You have some speed control methods with the Ho-Oh Tailwind. And of course, you do have Iron Treads to be able to break through opposing Miraidon, so you don't have to go for the max speed wars. Next Pokemon we have is the Clear Amulet Ho-Oh, preventing its stats from getting dropped from opponents with the Regenerator ability, which is able to heal the Ho-Oh by a 33% if it does switch out on the field with the Grass Terra type, which is just a good defensive typing for electric and water type moves. With Sacred Fire, Brave Bird, Tailwind, and Protect. Yeah, Ho-Oh's just a really interesting mon. It's also like a pretty good anti-balance mon because it's really good into Calyx Shadow as Almazenta teams, especially into like the Rillaboom Incineroar pairings. Like Ho-Oh is just really good at being able to threaten a lot of damage, especially because normally it would have got to Intimidate cycle, but that Clear Amulet just solves that problem. It's really able to dish out a good amount of damage to those kind of compositions, and that is the tournament in Europe which it was held in, and they do favor more of those balanced teams, so it makes a ton of sense. Overall, is able to get some good speed control with that Tailwind support. The Brave Bird and Sacred Fire are able to hit the grass types that do resist the electric type moves from the Miraidon, and of course Ho-Oh being a ground immunity is pretty much a plus for the Miraidon because you can Volt Switch, Regenerator combos, and just be able to switch into immunities is always pretty pleasant. Also, Miraidon is able to cover for switching into Ho-Oh's water and electric weaknesses. And across the board, it is a bulky Ho-Oh. 204 HP, 156 attack with an Adamant Nature gives you an extra stat point in that attack, 100 defense. And yeah, it's just supposed to be a bulky Ho-Oh. It's not supposed to be super speedy. It has 36 speed, able to speed creep a few things that might speed creep Calyx Shadow Rider under Tailwind, and then 12 special defense. But yeah, Ho is just able to take attacks, fire off some pretty good damage. Not much to say about it. Next Pokemon we have is the Choice Scarf Rapid Strike Urshifu with the Unseen Fist ability that is able to hit through to Protect with the contact moves with the Water Terra type to power up its water moves even further with Surging Strikes, Close Combat, U-Turn, and Aqua Jet. It's a pretty simple Choice Scarf Urshifu, not much to say about it. It is really able to just outspeed Pokemon in this format like the base 135s and put on a lot of pressure, especially like Chien-Pao, which can give the team a little bit of annoyance, and Calyx Shadow Rider, which is always great to have a mon that at least outspeeds Calyx Shadow Rider. So you do have this Choice Scarf Urshifu that's also able to put on pressure through the Protects. With 4 HP, 4 defense, 12 special defense, but really the ideal part is the 252 speed with the Adamant Nature because you need at least this much to outspeed the Calyx Shadow Rider with the Choice Scarf, and then the rest going to attack. 236 gives you an extra stat point, and I guess just having a little bit of extra special defense to make some more rolls favorable. But across the board, pretty standard Choice Scarf Urshifu. It does what it needs to do, pressure the fast mons like the Chien-Pao, the Calyx Shadow Riders on opponent's side. Next Pokemon we have is the Focus Sash Chien-Pao with the Sword of Ruin to lower the defense of all Pokemon on the field besides the Chien-Pao with the Stellar Terra type with the Icicle Crash, Throat Chop, Sucker Punch, and Protect. Across the board, it's a pretty standard Chien-Pao. What to say about it? It's really able to put on a lot of pressure, especially with that Sword of Ruin. The Ho is really able to do a ton of damage thanks to that Sword of Ruin, as well as the Urshifu, and even the Iron Treads can be powered up. So it allows a more offensive capabilities that this team does have access to, as well as appreciate priority with that Sucker Punch threat. But across the board, it's able to hit like opposing Miraidons, which is pretty important, Raging Bolts, and more. So yeah, just be able to pressure Calyx Shadow Rider as well as those dragons is very nice. Simple EV spread, max attack, max speed, and 4 defense, opting for the adamant nature instead of a jolly nature. But I guess when you do have the tailwind with the Ho-Oh and you want as much damage with Sucker Punch as possible, and you have Iron Treads again for mainly the big mon, which is going to be opposing Miraidons, you don't need the jolly as much. You really want to focus on just building up the damage that you can. Next Pokemon we have is the Violet Clefairy with the Friend Guard that is able to reduce the damage that allies takes. With the Grass Terror type, really good against Spore Moongus, but also just water types like the Kyogre Water Spout, as well as the Surging Strikes from Urshifu, but also electric moves like opposing Miraidon, Electro Drift. With Follow Me, Encore, Helping Hand, and Protect. Clefairy, it's a really good mon, and I mean really good mon. It has seen less usage in this regulation, but it's just great because that Friend Guard support is just such a fantastic ability and has so many good support moves like that Follow Me Redirection and Helping Hand support, which is able to boost up the power, which is very much appreciated because again, it is the Covert Cloak Miraidon, so you could go for like Helping Hand plus an attack with Miraidon immediately, not have to worry about any fake outs, and just dish out damage immediately. And of course, you have it on a Scarf Urshifu, a Chien Pao with Sucker Punch, as well as the Ho. It definitely makes a lot of sense. And Encore, which is a move we don't see on Clefairy as often, but it makes sense because it's really good into like the Trick Room routes, because Clefairy is slower than like Calyx Ice Rider against Iron Hands and the Ursaluna speed tier base 50. You're able to underspeed those, and they do go for a Trick Room. They can be forced out because of the Encore situation. If the Ursaluna protects to get a Flame Orb, you can go for Encore into it. So it has a lot of disruptions there. EV spread wise, you do have a pretty physically defensive Clefairy because there's a lot of strong physical attacks in the format. With max HP, 180 defense, that gives an extra stat point, and then 76 special defense with a relaxed nature with 0 speed IVs, because again, you want to be able to underspeed like the Calyx Ice Riders, the base 50 tiers, and make sure you always can get an Encore to pressure, to reverse Trick Room, and more. Final Pokemon on this team is the Life Orb Iron Treads with the Quark Drive ability, giving it a speed booster in the electric terrain with the Ghost Terror type to help out against Fake Out and Extreme Speed with Protect, High Horsepower, Steel Roller, and Knockoff. It's just a pretty much a good answer to opposing Miraidons, as what Iron Treads is usually for. Has really good answers, especially to threaten the Calyx Ice duo with the Miraidons, especially which team doesn't have the best switch-ins too. So yeah, having that high horsepower to threaten the Miraidons, as well as be able to cover fire types like the Incineroar and the Chiyu, the Steel Roller to get rid of the terrain, but also a really powerful attack off the electric terrain if it's up, because 130 base power with Life Orb can really hurt off Iron Treads attack, with Knockoff to be able to get rid of items, especially like Power Herb on the Meteor Beam Lunala set, and the Calyx Shadow Rider to put on pressure, as well as like get rid of Choice Specs on Miraidon, Assault Vest, and more. So it's a very useful move here. And then the EV spread, pretty simple, just going with max speed, max attack with 4 special defense, because you're taking Life Orb recoil, you don't need as much bulk. You really just need to focus on outspeeding and dishing out as much damage as possible. So how to use a team? It is definitely more of an aggressive team. It does have a bit of a slower mode if you decide to go with the Clefairy for the Friend Guard to protect the allies from taking attacks or like heavy damage across the board. But ideally, you are able to put on a lot of pressure using the combination like Chien Pao Urshifu. You also have the Miraidon and Iron Treads offensive mode, of course, as well, with that Life Orb Iron Treads taking advantage of the electric terrain from Miraidon. Clefairy can always lead because you have Helping Hand access to a really powerful attacker like the Miraidon that doesn't have to fear a Fake Out, with Helping Hand plus a Electro Drift or Draco Meteor from the terrain boost. We have the Chien Pao, of course, putting on a lot of pressure. The Urshifu Helping Hand Surgery Strikes, Ho-Oh even, because Ho is a pretty big tank and that Friend Guard just makes it easier to live attacks. And then you have more offensive modes you could go for, like Urshifu can lead with anything, Urshifu Miraidon, Urshifu Ho-Oh, Urshifu Chien Pao for the Sword of Ruin attacks, like it can put a lot of pressure there. Urshifu plus Iron Treads, you could U-turn out into Miraidon, get the electric terrain, and then go for a follow-up. So there's a lot of things that you can do with that combination. And of course, Ho just can lead with anything, get Tailwind up, or just put on some good chip damage with Sacred Fire and Brave Bird. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about Ho-Oh in VGC? Because we saw a bit of it in the early parts of Regulation I, but it has fallen off immensely. Was Ho-Oh potentially a fraud, or did it have potential, but players just did not see it? Because it does have like really good special defense for Calyx Shadow Rider. Its typing is actually pretty decent to be able to tank on like Koraidon. So it might have some potential, but of course, there is the factor that Miraidon is the most common restricted Pokemon in the format. So let me know what you think about Ho-Oh down below in the comments, and let's get started and play some games. Alright, we have Calyx, Shadow Rider, Zamazenta, Ogerpon, Heartflame, Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Smeargle. These Smeargle variants have been popping up quite frequently lately. Alright, how do I want to approach this matchup? Urshifu, I mean, the thing about Urshifu is good against the Smeargle, but it's like really bad into everything else. What do I want to go here? Probably Pow lead. Pow is pretty strong. Ho is pretty decent as a lead too. I think I like Pow Ho actually. It's pretty good against like most of their team. And then I think in the back, do I want Clef? Probably not. I do want Miraidon so I can get rid of terrain. And then I think Urshim in the back is pretty good. Like redirection's nice with Clef. I don't think it's necessary. And Treads in this matchup, like it can do things like high horsepower to Incineroar and, you know, hits the Zama for okay damage, as well as like Shadow Rider pressure. But at the end of the day, like Ursh does that and has a Choice Scarf and doesn't have to worry about like terrain getting rid of its speed, so it's undersped by Shadow Rider. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go here. We're gonna see the Rillaboom plus the Calyx Shadow Rider, so this is perfect as I lead Qian Pao Ho. This is a super ideal position actually, because now I can just go for Crash and I can go for a Brave Bird, and I like that a lot. Or Tailwind. I like Tailwind more actually. So I'm just gonna go for Crash into the Calyrex, because if they fake out the Ho, they're probably gonna Terra Dark, and I'll just Tailwind. And I like that a lot, because if I get this Tailwind up, I'm in great spot. There's like so many things I could do, like go Miraidon here, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't think I have to Throat Chop here, because most likely they would Terrasilize if they allow the Pow to get an attack off. They could Protect too, which is also fair, but I get the Tailwind speed advantage, which is really good here. So I'll definitely take that. They can only fake out one slot, but I'll always pressure with the other. And I'm hoping that Crash into Sucker Punch could threaten the knockout into Calyx if it Terras, but we'll see. Oh, might be able to live one Astral Barrage. Yeah, should be able to. Okay, Rillaboom switches out. Okay, into Incineroar? That would make sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And Protect. Yeah, so I get the Tailwind up, which is super ideal. Awesome. Awesome. Now this upcoming turn, I'm just going to attack. I'm going to Brave Bird. I'm going to go for a Icicle Crash. If they set up, that's fine. They're probably going to fake out the Ho-Oh, go for Terra, Dark, and attack, and that's completely acceptable here. Because if they do that, what I can do the next turn is I can Brave Bird, and I can pivot into Urshifu. I guess they still have Ogerpon that could play scary, but like I think this is still pretty acceptable. Also, like a Crash Flinch could help out immensely here. I don't know. I also don't want to hard switch Ursh because they have a chance to go for a Astral Barrage here, and I don't want my Ursh to take so much damage. But we'll see. We're just gonna play on the offense, go for Crash, go for Brave Bird, and we'll see. We're gonna see Terrasization come out. There should be Terra Dark always, unless they have Terra Fairy or something. Yep, Calyx Terras into the Dark type. Yep, okay, exactly as we thought. So that's pretty good, because we have Ursh to play around it. We see a fake out, which is completely acceptable, and we get a Crash off. Good damage, and they actually just go for the Astro, so this actually works out pretty well for us. Okay, awesome. They take a bunch of Life Orb recall, but this is pretty decent here. This is pretty decent. This is we have 2 turns of Tailwind to take advantage of. We get to go out into our Urshifu, and we get to go for a Brave Bird into the Calyx. The reason we're going to go for this play is they might go for Protect Knockoff. If they go for Protect Knockoff, that's fine. If they go for Protect Parting Shot, that's also fine. I like the idea of just keeping up the pressure against the Calyx Shadow Rider with our Urshifu, which is super ideal. They probably Parting Shot the Qian Pound Protect. A hard switch also made sense if they go hard Rilla. Yeah, they always Protect here, but I mean, I'm not going to do much to Incineroar, and I don't have to target Incineroar at this moment. So we Brave Bird. And and we see a parting shot. Yep, exactly what we fought. And I don't think it's Ogerpon back. I don't think it's Ogerpon back. So if it's Ogerpon back, I guess it'll be questionable, but I don't think it's Ogerpon back. I think it's probably the Zama. Or the Smeargle. I guess Smeargle could come out. But if a Smeargle comes out, it's kind of a weird spot for them because I can still Surging Strikes Brave Bird. Yeah, I think I would still do that. So that's still pretty acceptable. Like, I'm feeling it is probably Smeargle over Ogerpon in the matchup, but we'll see. Just don't get like some... Well, Moody doesn't help here. It doesn't. Although the next mind game is just going to be a concerning one, I suppose. They're thinking hard, but this turn is really hard. If they go Rillaboom, Grassy Glide doesn't KO Ursh unless they're Miracle Seed. We are going to see the Rilla come in, which makes sense. I don't see a problem with going for Surging Strikes and Brave Bird into the Calyrex slot because I should get a knockout with Surging onto every slot of the LRX. I guess maybe if Incineroar comes in, I'm not going to Terra Grass, I'm not going to Terra Electric, and I definitely don't Star Terra. So I think I actually just go for a Surging Strikes here, and I go for a Brave Bird into the Calyrex. The reason I make this play is because it's like, okay, what are they going to do? I could see the Calyrex switching out here. If they go Incin, it drops. If they go Smeargle, it drops. I guess if they go Zama is the only concerning one, but it should be still playable. Oh, they did go Zama. Good play on their part. I'm assuming this is Woodhammer then. I didn't get the pin I wanted, which is a little bit annoying. I mean, I can still probably play out of this. I might just have to hope that the... Yeah, this is still okay. It's not like awful, but it's not like super ideal. Yeah, I do get the Surging Strikes off. We'll get a Brave Bird as well. Like, the Zama's taking some pretty big damage. I was really hoping that it was like Smeargle plus Incin coming out. Like, I thought maybe they were like, okay, they might live with Scarf Surging, but I guess they don't know my Urshifu set confirmed. I do get a Brave Bird off. Good damage. This is Woodhammer. Unless they U-turn for some reason. Why did they U-turn? I don't think you should ever U-turn in this position. I think you should take the KO. That works. That gives me an opening. Surprisingly, I'm surprised they gave me that opening, but sure. Yeah, what's stopping me from clicking Surging here? Oh, do they think I'm not Scarf? They don't know, I guess, my item. Maybe that's the case? That's fine. Yeah, Tailwind Peter's out. I think it's pretty acceptable to go for Surging into the Calyrex and just Tailwind. The reason I'm going to make this play is because... Actually, should I make this play? Yes, I should. Because I want Miraidon faster than Cali. If they go Rillaboom for the Calyrex slot, they are going to body press my Ursh, right? And that's fine if they do that. Because I get Tailwind up with Ho-Oh and they're still in a pretty troublesome situation. So yeah, even though like these turns have not worked out for me, like I think my advantage is just pretty strong at this point, that as long as I can keep up the pressure and make sure that they don't get like so many openings. I have been giving them some openings though, but it should be fine. Yeah, they didn't expect that I was Scarfer, so this is just over at this point. I get the Surging off into the Calyrex, and that's just really bad for them. So goodbye Calyrex. I mean, I guess the game's not technically over, but it's really tough for them. They go for Body Press and a Ho-Oh actually, but Ho-Oh is a... Wow, I didn't think Ho-Oh would tank it that well actually. Does that have defense investment? That really did not do that much. Okay, I got the Tailwind up and now I'm in pretty much a game-winning scenario. I can't really see it because Grassy Terrain disappears. I mean, they're probably just going to go out into Urshifu or into Rillaboom again because you can't really go Incineroar. If you go Incineroar, like I just Sacred Fire, Surging Strikes the Zamazenta slot, or I Surging Strikes the Incineroar, which is also fine by me. Yeah, if they go Incineroar, I mean, I'm just clicking Surging Strikes into the Incineroar. Yeah, I'm just going to Surging Strikes the Incineroar. Well, should I give them an opening? If they fake out, I always get the Surging off into Incense. I always do that. think Covert Cloak Miraidon just wins at this point. I'm gonna Sacred Fire the Zama. If I lose Ho-Oh, like I still think I'm pretty good with Miraidon back. Because I can crash Dorilla. I think that this is still pretty okay position. They fake out my Ursh, so I guess they're going for Sacred Fire dodge at this point. Ursh flinches. I get the Sacred Fire off, and I do connect, so that should just secure the game. Yeah, that just secures the game because now I can go out into my Miraidon for the Ho slot, and I get to Certain Strikes to instant. If they faked out the Ho to take the knockout, I get the KO into Incineroar. If it's Helmet Incineroar, I go down and body press afterward, but I think Miraidon, even outside of electric terrain, can still win with POW in the back. Because they would probably try to threaten the fake out of Miraidon, but then they would probably play into the Covert Cloak unless they know the team, but even then, like, they can't stop it. So now I get a guaranteed surging into instant. I go into Miraidon, and that's a good game because I'll still keep my Ho around, and yeah, they can't really do much. They could fake out and knock off, but I mean, yeah, they can't really do much to my Ursh while electric terrain is up to stop me from getting the KO into instant in time. So this just ended up working out really well offensively. I felt like, again, because we forced a terrestrialization, the fact that we had Scarf Ursh on this team, it really just put on the pressure against this kind of mode. And yeah, we're gonna see the battle forfeit because they also know it's kind of over. Like, I have a full health Miraidon in the back. I still have Chien Pao around. Like, it was looking really rough for them to actually be able to have a chance. Like, they just didn't really have it realistically. So yeah, as long as you're able to play around the restricteds of that team, or if you get rid of supports early, it's like manageable. But it's just like pick which one, because you always got to watch about Shadow Rider, but thankfully they did not respect this possibility of Scarf Urshifu. All right, we have Kyogre, Urshifu, Chien Pao, Tornadus, Giratina Origin, and Rillaboom. Is this Henry Rich's team? I don't remember if Urshifu was on the team. Everything else seems correct. No, wait, no, there was a Whimsicott, right? No, there was a Whimsicott, I'm pretty sure. Over to Torn. I'm like pretty confident there was. Okay. Let's see. Giratina, Kyogre. Matchup's weird. It's fine, but yeah, it's strange. I think we go with Miraidon plus POW lead because POW pressures pretty much the Torn, and then everything else gets pressured by the Miraidon. With back Pokemon, I think we go for Clef and we go for Ho-Oh in this. Terrestrialization wise, it will probably be the Ho-Oh. Yeah, I think it'd probably be the Ho-Oh. So the problem is going to be that Giratina is actually doing a ton of damage to my team, unironically, but we'll see. Rillaboom Giratina is fine. Okay. And Chien Pao and the Miraidon. Now, kind of curious if they go for terrestrialization immediately, but I have Covert Cloak on the Miraidon, so I'm not like too concerned about like an attack here. I think I'm just going to go for Crash, and I'm just going to go for Draco. Yeah, I'm just going to Crash and Draco. I think that's fine. I'm not really too scared of Rillaboom with my Ho-Oh in the back. I just got to focus down to Giratina. I guess if they protect Giratina and U-turn or hard swap, that's a good play on their part. Although they got to be worried about me crashing the Rillaboom as well. So it's not a guarantee say. And yeah, Covert Cloak is going to come in super handy here as I do get a crash off. I play aggressive and it pays off. I don't knock out the Giratina, but I landed Draco. So it is able to knock out the Giratina. And that is a pretty dang good start here. So very nice knockout into Giratina. We do take that knockout. And guess what? That was the biggest threat to my Ho-Oh. That was the biggest threat to my Terra Grass Ho-Oh. I mean, there is still the Torn if Torn is in the back, so I gotta respect that. But Covert Cloak is that item sometimes, just to play around to fake out. Pyro coming in. I mean, this is just a simple Volt Switch into the Kyogre and an Icicle Crash into the Rillaboom. Yeah, there's not really much that they can do. I also debated about going for Electric Drift Icicle Crash into the Kyogre. I don't think that's worth it, because I don't think I even knock out the Kyogre if it doesn't Terra. Maybe if I went for a Terra Electric, it might have, but we do KO the Rillaboom Crash. We're up 2 Mons now, which is great. We get the Volt Switch off, so we get some chip damage into the Kyogre. It's looking pretty good. Like, it is looking pretty good. Do I want to go Ho-Oh or do I want to go Clef? I want to go Clef, I think. I think Clef is super safe here. As they go for Origin Pulse. We do tank it just fine. So this should be Torn as the last. If it's not Torn in the back, I think we just straight up win. I guess if it's their own POW, I guess it could be scary. Yeah, it could be scary, I guess. Oh, it's Ursh. Okay, no, my Torn is looking in a fantastic spot. There's no way you Aqua Gen this position. I'm just going to Helping Hand and I'm going to go for a Sucker Punch. Because if you're Banded Ursh, yeah, like I think I just go for Helping Hand Sucker Punch into Kyogre. And if they give me the Kyogre, it's fine. And if it doesn't, like I still have Terra Grass, Ho-Oh plus Miraidon, which should be able to clean up this endgame very easily. So unless there's Scarf Aqua Jet, which they have to lock into Aqua Jet, I should be fine. And I should be fine either way. Because unless the Ursh has like Swords Dance or something, I'm feeling pretty good about the spots. Helping Hand Sucker Punch should easily take the KO onto the Kyogre if they attack aggressively here, which they might. Because, yeah, this we'll see. We'll see. I could have also targeted the Ursh, but I don't think it's bad. Yeah, like they gave me the Kyogre. Sucker Punch is able to KO the Kyogre. That is sort of ruin Helping Hands. Takes a knockout into Kyogre, and now it's Ursh by itself, and it cannot beat my Ho-Oh, and it cannot beat my Miraidon, especially because a Terra Grass will just secure the game guaranteed. So very nice, very nice. Now we'll bring out Miraidon, and we'll click Electro Drift. They still have Terrassization available, but I can't really see a Terrassization that lets Ursh win. Even if it's Terra Electric, as long as I don't miss a bunch of Draco Meteors, I'm fine. We're going to go for Follow Me and a Electro Drift. As battle's going to be forfeited, we do take the win. So Covert Cloak Miraidon coming in handy there, especially in the CTS, but I think the tournament was OTS, so I mean it just worked out on both angles. Not getting pivoted, not having to waste turns of momentum by fake out, and I felt like they were always going to fake out the Miraidon most likely in that situation, so I targeted with POW because I felt like it was the best to take some offensive initiative, and it heavily paid off. I think this is actually one of my Twitch mods. I think this is one of my Twitch mods. We have Zamazenta, Chien-Pao, Raging Bolt, Basculegion, Wo-Chien, and Kyogre. They did actually just release the Shiny Wo-Chien when I'm recording this, so maybe it's a tribute to Shiny Wo-Chien. This is going to be an interesting matchup. They don't have Tailwind, which is really interesting. Ho-Oh is pretty lovely against Zamazenta. It's not really great against the others unless I Terra Grass, but that makes the POW pretty scary, which is something I'll have to keep in mind. I think I bring POW. I think POW's really good. The question is, am I bringing Zama? Because Ursh. Because Ursh is kind of weird in this matchup. It's like decent, but it's not like incredible. Are you leading Raging Bolt against my team? There's a lot of weird mind games here, I'm pretty sure, that we're gonna have to deal with. I want to bring the Clef mode really bad, but I just don't think it works. I think I have to always bring POW. I think I have to bring Ho-Oh. I think I need Ursh for the POW. And also just U-turn pressure, and like Rain Resurgence Strikes is pretty powerful. And then I think I bring Miraidon. It's kind of weird because I'm not 100% certain on this. Like this matchup is strange. I think this matchup is really weird just because I don't know if we're gonna see the Wo-Chien. It does kind of negate a lot of my attacking power with my physical offense, but we'll see. We're gonna see POW plus Basculegion. Okay, so this works out really well for me. Oh wait, I thought I led Ursh. Okay, I did not lead Ursh. I am a fool. Granted, this is still an okay lead. I think. Well, it's not Scarf Basculegion. I'm a bit worried if they go for Aqua Jet here. I'm kind of curious on what they do, because there could be switches. Not easy per se. I think I'm just going to double protect. Yeah, I'm gonna double protect. I was like debating, do I bring out Urshifu? But the problem with bringing Urshifu is Wave Crash would do a ton of damage. And I mean a ton of damage to my Urshifu, where then next turn they could go Kyogre and Wave Crash again, and that'd be bad. Because I'm trying to see if there's a Terrassization. Like, yeah, there is a Terrassization. So I'm able to catch the Terrassization. That's actually pretty massive here for me. Okay. It is Terra Water. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. As we go for the protect. Do I need Ho-Oh? I don't need it. It's nice, but it's not necessary. A Sucker Punch. Interesting. Flip Turn. Flip Turn usually means it's banded. So if it's banded, that's probably easier to play around. Also, they didn't go for Crash and a Ho-Oh. I'm curious on who their back is. I feel like Raging Bull Kyogre would make the most sense. But they could have brought Zama, which is fine if they did. I think my best play is just to go for a Throat Chop into the best Legion and just go out into Urshifu. Are they adaptability? No way. They're Scarf adaptability. I think we just go Ursh. I don't want to Terrasilize and I don't want them to Crash. We see the POW switch out, which is interesting. Okay. Into Kyogre. All right. A bit weird here, but it's playable. Are they flip turning my Ho, or are they flip turning my Chien-Pao? Probably Chien-Pao, right? Ursh comes in. You have some pretty good offensive pressure at the very least. Yeah, they go for flip turn. It's hard to POW. I gotta watch out because that Basket Legion will be scary endgame wise. All right. Fortunately, Close Combat probably doesn't knock out the Kyogre. We have... Yeah, this is not going to be an easy game. I need to get rid of the POW as well. Zamazenta comes in, so that's smart on their side. We get Throat Chop for some pretty decent damage. I want to Throat Chop Close Combat. Or Sucker Punch Close Combat. I might be down to Sucker Punch. But if it is this Scarf Kyogre, I can't tell if this is Scarf Kyogre. I have no good switches, so I have to go on the offense here. I think I Sucker Punch and I go for... I think I Close Combat. I stay in. I'm thinking with Wo-Chien it probably isn't Scarf. It's probably Assault Vest. I do KO the Kyogre, which is great. So I do eliminate the Kyogre, which is awesome. This was my best answer for POW, though. Probably taking Body Press. I mean, this is still very playable, but I mean, I guess I don't have to Terrassilize guaranteed here, which is nice. Because if I get Tailwind up, I'm in a good spot. But the question is, can I get Tailwind up? That's the tricky part. We're going to go Ho-Oh. As they bring out the POW. Okay, this is super ideal. This is super ideal. I think I'm just going to Sucker Punch the POW and go for Tailwind. Yeah. If they protect POW, it's fine, because like the worst they can do is like Body Press, and then I can get a double up the next turn, which is actually pretty good. Oh, it's Iron Defense. How much does that change? I think it's okay. That one comes out. All right. I gotta get this call right. There's a chance they go Basket Legion here. I think the play is always to Sucker Punch and Brave Bird the Chien-Pao slot. Yeah, it is. Because if I double up the Chien-Pao slot, I'm in a good spot. Unless they go for a double protect, but I just don't think. I think they're either going to go for Sucker Punch or they're going to go into Basculegion. And I don't think Basculegion lives a Brave Bird from my Ho-Oh, which is good. Problem is this body press is going to hurt into Ho-Oh. Like, the end game is still pretty good with my Miraidon, I think, with Terra Electric. But yeah, they stay in, which is perfect. I get a Brave Bird off for free. Oh, they didn't Sucker Punch attempt. Okay, so I get rid of the POW. I take recoil, but that's perfectly acceptable. Okay. They go for body press and they knock out the POW. So this is actually the perfect situation that I could have asked for. Because now Miraidon comes in. I wish I was like any offensive item on the Miraidon, but I think this is pretty acceptable. Okay. They were probably scared of like Sacred Sword on the POW, but this works out huge. Okay. I have 2 turns of Tailwinds. Flip turn means it shouldn't have Protect. I want to see what the move they lock into is. I don't have a cover. I think they have an Aqua Jet pin here, which makes it weird. Actually, no. I think I'm just gonna double protect here because I need to scout if they go for Aqua Jet, if they have it. Yeah, no, I have to scout for it. There's Aqua Jet. Because if there's Aqua Jet, I can play around it. Oh, they have Protect on Zama. Okay, so they have Protect on Zama, which is good info to have. And they go for Wave Crash into Ho-Oh. That's surprising. It works out. Okay. Rain stops, which is perfect because now I can actually double the Zamazenta here. Oh, please tell me Electro Drift into Sacred Fire KOs. I think it does. I think we always go for Sacred Fire plus us. Okay, there's no way you target down my Miraidon with Wave Crash, right? I think we double up that slot with Sacred Fire, Terra Electric. If they Wave Crashed my Miraidon, good play on their part, but I think they're going to target my Ho again and then just try to get the body press off. I think they might attempt to go for a double Zama. As long as they don't get the double protect, it's fine, but it's a mind game between do I target Basculegion or not as well. They did go for the double, which was their best play. Thankfully, they don't get it, and assuming I killed a Miraidon, I just win. Yeah, I could have targeted Basculegion, but there's just a weird mind game there. Yeah, it barely lived. I had a feeling it might live. But luckily, Sacred Fire will KO the Zama. Question for the Basculegion. Who did you target? It should be the Ho-Oh again, I assume. Wave Crash. Beautiful. Okay. Yep, it was in a Ho-Oh. Oh man, there were a lot of calls that I had to do, and that's kind of the thing when they have like this faster paced team, but I was able to position Tailwind thankfully and catch like some of Mario's mistakes here, and we will be able to take the win here. So unless this is Scarf adaptability, but I don't think it is. Yeah. I did not think it was. Electric is just going to come out KO. And yeah, Covert Cloak unfortunately wasn't as helpful in this game. I would have definitely liked an offensive item because we would have KO'd the Miraidon, for instance. But across the board, not too shabby because we were able to call the targets on the Basculegion, which was the important one. We were able to stall out some rain turns and getting the calls right on the Chi and Pow, which was actually really annoying, as well as the Zama. Again, I could have Electro Drifted the Basculegion slot, and I think it would have guaranteed game, but it's just a call. Like, if they just go for the body press then, like, it's still very awkward. So, luckily, they didn't get the double, and I think I went for some decent odds. I don't know if it's the best odds. I don't know if it's better to just target the Basculegion, or if it's to gamble, but I think it was probably to gamble there. I guess, like, I could go for Electro Drift into Basculegion, Sacred Fire, and if I get the burn, I guarantee win. Which isn't awful odds, I suppose. And it might have been better, but there's also Sacred Fire mischance. And I'm pretty sure body press at +3 is just two-shotting my Ho-Oh. Well, I don't think I'm two-shotting them back. So that was my issue. If I get the burn, I win. But I don't know what gives me best odds, whether going for the burn or trying to just dodge the double protect. All right, we got Whimsicott, Miraidon, Zacian, Urshifu, Tianpao, Dragonite. What is this HO team that I do not have good switches to? I can't lie, I do not have great switches to this, but all right, let's try out our Iron Treads, which should be good here. I think Iron Treads Ho-Oh is tempting, although there is the Ursh. I don't think Ursh leads against my Miraidon team, though. I think it'd be a Backmon, if anything. I think I'm just gonna lead Ho-Oh plus Iron Treads. I think Sash Pow is good to have in the back always, and then I think I bring the Miraidon. I can't really do Clef in this game because Clef just gets blown up by everything on this team realistically, so I can't slow down the pacing. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully Treads can put in a lot of work, especially daily like Miraidon plus like they actually let Ursh. Well, this is not gonna be fun. I feel like they double up my whole slot. Okay, I do have plays that I can make. I'm gonna high horsepower. I'm gonna go for Terragrass Protect and hope that they decide, hey, I'm going to Surging Crash the Ho-Oh to cover for a Terrassization. I'm going for Protect against Urshifu. It's fine because I just need to make sure that they don't KO my Ho-Oh slot. This is a very bad lead, and I have to go for like plays like this to get back into the game because no matter what I try to switch into, I have no switch in. Okay, they did Surging the Ho-Oh. That's super ideal. Okay. I don't really need my Miraidon this matchup. It was only for the Ursh, so this is perfect. Please crash the Ho-Oh. Nice. Or a Spinner. That works too. Okay, super ideal. Also, we confirm it's Scarf Ursh, so that's good to know. We do connect the high horsepower, which is massive, and get huge damage. Excellent. Now we have plays that we can make. I'm going to just go for a knockoff into the Ursh. I want to knock off the Ursh. Yes, because it covers for most swaps. And we're going to sack Miraidon to the Spinner because I don't really need Miraidon other than, again, getting rid of the Ursh. So we will go out into Miraidon. Go for a knockoff into the Ursh. And okay, we're actually in a playable spot now. So goodbye Ursh. No more Surging Strikes I have to worry about. There should be Spinner again. Unless they want to go for the target into Treads, which wouldn't be great, but we'll see if that's what their play is here. I don't think they would have Sacred Sword on this team. Yeah, it's Spinner. Okay. Nice. Miraidon hangs on from it. Beautiful. And then who are they bringing out next? If it's Zacian, I guess it's kind of weird. It is Zacian. All right. Yeah, I mean, we're slowly building up the momentum. We're slowly building it up. We have Protect, so we have never revealed Protect. They're probably just gonna Ice Spinner and go for... I think they would Ice Spinner. Do I want to break my Tianpao Sash? Or do I just want to go into Ho-Oh? I think I'd rather go Ho-Oh because Ho-Oh should probably live an Ice Spinner anyway. And if Ho-Oh goes down, I get a free switch to Miraidon instead of having to swap back and forth. So, I mean, it still works out. Bring out the Ho-Oh. And protect the Treads. Let's see what they decide to go for. Gonna be Sacred Sword. Okay, into the Tread slot. That makes sense. And this should be Ice Spinner. There's like 2 plays that I have to catch the next turn. Oh, Ho-Oh goes down. Okay, that's fine. So I think my best play is just to go Miraidon and It's a mind game here. We're gonna go Miraidon so we have the terrain. I don't know. Are you Fairy Terra? I could definitely see Fairy Terra on this team. What I want to do is I want a Steel Roller and I want to go for an attack, but if they protect the Zacian, I gotta read if Zacian protects here. If Zacian protects, I'm in a bad spot, but if Zacian goes for protect and I call it wrong, it's ugly. I think ideally I go for Steel Roller into Zacian anyway, and I go on a POW. I just gotta call it. Like, they could Terrasilize the Zacian to avoid taking super effective damage from high horsepower. I'm hoping it would be Terra Fairy on this offensive team, so that's like my hope right here. So because I have Speed Booster and the Sword of Ruin is up, I'm hoping that they give me this opportunity to KO Zacian, because Zacian is like one of the worst answers for my power, right? Like, if I'm able to get rid of the Zacian on their side, it's pretty massive, but we'll see. They could also target the Treads with the Chien Pao, which would be bad. However, I'm not sure if you're going to risk it or not. I'm bringing out the Chien Pao. We do see a Terrasization, okay. Can we Fairy Terra? Zacian. Grass Terra works too, okay. I'm hoping Sword of Ruin with Life Orb Steel Roller with how powerful it is. One shots. Oh, they Sucker Punch too, which is beautiful. Please get the KO. This was the best turn. No! Why did it live on one? Ah, that's game. That's probably game. All that just for Treads to fail to pick up the knockout. That's so sad. Like, can I come back? Sure. It's just so unlikely here, though. It's just so unlikely. I have to call two things. If they decide, hey, I'm going to protect the Zacian, I think they should always just attack realistically, but we'll see. Yeah, they attacked here, so that's perfect. Okay, I do protect the Miraidon. I don't think they knew that I had protect. I go for the Sucker Punch into the Zacian, and I take the knockout. Beautiful. Maybe Pao could have a chance. Thing is, I'm adamant Pao, so I don't even think I outspeed their Pao, even if they don't have Sacred Sword, which I don't think they will. But they have to play mind games against my Miraidon, and I still have to hope they're Miraidon in the. Oh wait, what? That's not Miraidon. Dragon Knight. Okay, yeah, it's looking pretty over, I'd say. They should just maybe I should have attacked here. They're gonna extreme speed and sucker probably. I mean, I do get the protect, but they just get a bunch of damage here into Chien Pao always. Yeah. Hopefully they Sucker Punch. Oh no, they do have Sacred Sword. Yeah, it was over. If I just got the KO man into the Zacian, I think this game is very doable, man. I just think it is. Like, I have a decent chance to win. Actually, I think I have a really good chance to win. I made the plays that I needed to, but unfortunately it just was not enough. Trez was just weak with the Sword of Ruin, Life Orb, and Steel Roller. Sometimes that's how it goes, but man, that's just a disappointment. That's a strong Steel move with Life Orb, Sword of Ruin. And I know Zacian is a heck of a bulky Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but that's a lot of multipliers. And I mean a lot of multipliers to fail to KO. All right, we have Miraidon, Lunala, Rillaboom, Raging Bolt, Volcarona, and the Smeargle. So, what do I want to do against this? Because we have some pretty scary mons here, but our hull is pretty good against this team. We got to watch out for Raging Bolt, and we got to watch out for Lunala, especially that Meteor Beam set. I'm not really too worried about the Volcarona, fortunately, which is great. What would I want to go here? Urshifu, not really that great. I think that's like okay, but it's not like amazing. Although it does have knockoff, which can cover the Lunala, which is kind of massive, and it's probably one of my better answers to Raging Bolt. So I am considering it quite heavily here. I don't know if I want to bring Power, if I want to bring Clef. Clef makes it safer to pivot around, but I'm not 100% certain. I kind of like the Treads plus Ho lead. I think Treads plus Ho is actually pretty strong here. with Miraidon and am I bringing POW? I think it is bring POW, right? I think it's bring POW. Clefairy redirection with Friend Guard would be so nice here, and it's a great pivot. But then again, just I feel like it's just better to bring these four. The thing I do have to worry about though is Miraidon could get out of hand because I'm bringing Chien Pao, which means that let's just say the Sword of Ruin could backfire on me here. But let's see what we can do damage output wise. I do want to get some good damage output. First, Rillaboom Miraidon. Okay, against Ho-Oh plus Iron Tread. So this is probably like a really ideal lead for the most part. I do threats into Brave Bird. If they decide to Terra, I can always just play around it because I have the high horsepower on my treads. So this is not a terrible lead here. I'm kind of curious on what they'll go for, but I am just going to protect, double protect here because I want to double protect. I could Tailwind. I mean, I think they always fake out Ho-Oh as the thing, but I don't know if Miraidon doubles up the Ho-Oh, which would be scary here. So I think I'm just going to double protect. I don't want to risk like bulk up. We're going to see a Terra actually from my opponent, which is surprising here. Okay. Going to be Miraidon on the fire. Ooh. Does that mean they're doubling up my treads here? Because if I switch Miraidon to high horsepower, you are screwed here. As I will double protect. Okay. This is going to be very interesting on how the next turn goes. Is this Flame Charge and Fake Out? Fake Out does come out into the Ho-Oh. Yep. Okay. What did the Miraidon go for? Scale Shot into Ho-Oh. Okay. Yeah, I'm really glad I protected. They're in really big trouble though. I have high horsepower option on my treads, and I could go for the high horsepower here into the Miraidon, and that would definitely be a very bad situation for them. So they have to make a read here. I think they would probably protect the Miraidon. I just don't know if the Rillaboom stays in or not. I kind of like the idea of just going out in a Miraidon and just clicking Sacred Fire, I think. Yeah, I don't hate that because they don't have a good Sacred Fire switch regardless. And I think keeping treads around is valuable. And if I get rid of the grassy terrain, that's pretty massive. So we'll go Miraidon for this slot and see how we play around this, as we will get a electric terrain up. We are going to see Rillaboom actually retreat, probably Miraidon protect, I'd assume. And we're going to see the Raging Bolt come in. That makes sense. Okay. Should be protect then from the, well, this thing is, I mean, I guess like this is all right for them. Oh, they collision course? If I just high horsepowered, I think they just lost. Okay. And we missed a Sacred Fire into Raging Bolt. All right. Not the greatest. It's still playable. But wow, I'm really surprised by that play, because if I go for a switch to Miraidon on the other slot, I get the speed booster. I have Life Orb. I go for high horsepower into Miraidon. They just lose. They just lose. So that was a really risky gamble that they played. But we will go out into treads here. And we will get speed booster. And I'm hoping to play around Scale Shot plus an attack here. They go out into Rillaboom, which is smart here, which is fine. Okay. The Quark Drive is going to wear off. We will protect our Miraidon. Maybe I should swap that Miraidon, but that's in a POW, which is not super pleasant. They go for collision course again. All right. You know, the way they're playing this, I wouldn't be surprised if they just fake out my treads at this point. I don't think they're going to Flare Blitz. They might collision course because they've been playing pretty greedily here. They might also just fake out Scale Shot. I think I'm going to go Ho-Oh, and I think I'm going to go for a risk here, and I'm just going to go for Terra Ghost high horsepower. I think that should be fine. So let's see. If I get the knock on a Miraidon, it's just massive. So let's see if that's going to actually be able to be the case. Let's see if they actually go for Flare Blitz, because I do have Terra Ghost, and I will go for Ghost Terra. At this point, I'm going to disrespect their option to go for Flare Blitz, because they've been disrespecting me for not seeing the Iron Treads as a threat. So let's see if this works out or not. Fake Out does come out on the Iron Treads. Perfect. Show me Scale Shot into the Ho-Oh. Yep. Perfect. All right. So I got them on that play, right? All right. Ho took it. Ho is taking a lot of damage though. Unfortunately, it's a 5-hitter too, so my Ho is pretty low, but at this point, as long as I get rid of as long as I connect, I get the KO here easily, especially with the defense drop. High horsepower does come out and knock out the Miraidon. So by the way that they were playing like the turn with the treads, I had a feeling that they would make this play. So ended up working out pretty well. We are able to get rid of the Miraidon, which is massive. And yeah, this is looking pretty decent now. Now the problem is, well, there's not as many turns of sun left, as we're going to see Lunala come in, which is actually perfect for me here. I do want to go out actually in a Chien Pao, and I am going to go for a knockoff, I think, into the Lunala, because I get the regenerator. I might get some really good damage here into the Lunala to pick up the knockout. Like the knockoff plus the sort of ruin with life orb, it's pretty strong. I'd be shocked if it lived, actually. It's Scarf Lunala. Okay, Chien Pao unfortunately did take more damage. We're gonna see a knockoff come out. We do take the knockout on Lunala. It is Scarf. We gotta create that Christian Matter that has no bulk on the Lunala. I'm guessing they would hammer. If they U-turn, that's fine, but I imagine this is wood hammer and a should KO here. Oh, a U-turn. That's a very shocking U-turn here, and I think it works out for me. Yeah, it works out for me huge. I don't know why they didn't get the damage on treads, because I felt like treads was a big threat, but you know what? We'll take it. We're going to see the Raging Bolt come in. It will get back to the Photosynthesis. Grassy terrain will heal us a bit again. Sunlight fades though, which is the important part. So no more Photosynthesis is massive here, as we will get some recovery. This should be... How many turns of Grassy do they have? That's a good question. They faked out a U-turn, so I think it's 2 more turns if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is 2 more turns. Okay. I do like double protect here because I do get the recovery on both of these Pokemon, which does matter for like Thunderclap and Grassy Glide stuff. But let's see. I'm also scouting for potential protect from the Raging Bolt. They can't protect, but the Raging Bolt is actually still scary. A Thunderclap comes out and Grassy Glide, or did they wood hammer? They would hammer the Reds. Okay. I mean, I would do the same thing. I would just Thunderclap and I would just go for a wood hammer. I feel like the Sucker Punch is obvious, but I feel like I'd rather get more damage than get greedy here. So I think I'm going to Sucker Punch the Raging Bolt, and I'm going to go out into my Ho-Oh, because we'll definitely take a Grassy Glide, Thunderclap, wood hammer combo. The only bad thing here is if they Thunderbolt and I guess attack my Chien Pao with the wood hammer, but I think it's really unlikely here. Sucker Punch going to come out. Good damage. The Grassy Glide, perfect. Did they Thunderclap? They did Thunderclap too. Nice, beautiful. So now with that, I'm pretty sure I have a guaranteed, or not guaranteed, but a really high chance of winning. The Ho-Oh is at enough HP where, well, actually, Rillaboom probably, okay. This might not be a guaranteed win, but I think we have a good shape. All we need to do is KO the Raging Bolt. I would like to scout for protects if there are going to be protects. Or should I just Tailwind here? That Tailwind is pretty safe too. Yeah, because they would probably Thunderclap my Ho-Oh if anything. Or if they Thunderclap my Chien Pao, that works too. Okay, they didn't Thunderclap. Good play on their part. I mean, I think this is still fine. They went for wood hammer into the Pao, and they went for T-Bolt. I'm actually shocked, because I feel like if I just Sacred Fire the Rillaboom and protect, like, they lose. That's why I thought they were gonna Thunderclap. I mean, it still works out for me here. Like, Pao is still super threatening to them across the board. It is Life Orb on the Bolt, but I think I go for Crash. Crash should KO the Rillaboom. And as long as I hit the Rillaboom, I'm fine. I also have high horsepower into the Raging Bolt. I think knockoff would barely miss a knockout, so I do want to get the high horsepower off. Okay, they go for that into the POW, which is fine. I am able to get a high horsepower off into the Raging Bolt. Actually, am I losing this end game? I guess it depends on if Treads lives a Woodhammer. This is out of terrain, but I mean, I am decently healthy. And if I live this, like, I guarantee win by clicking a knockoff into Draco or Electro Drift. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I had a feeling I lived there. Okay, perfect. Because the options were for them to go for Thunderclap. If they don't KO POW, they have to hope for, like, ISO Crash Miss, which, you know, the odds are what they are. But I felt like maybe I didn't play the end game super well because of the Tailwind. I really thought they would Thunderclap my Ho or Chien POW, and I wanted to cover for both. But I think this worked out because right now I do have a very powerful Steel Roller Electro Drift combo I can go for. Yeah, and that works. I could also knock off. I don't think I have to knock off this turn. Steel Roller, yeah, it just almost knocks out the Rillaboom. And then Electro Drift will finish off the Rillaboom. So yeah, I think even though it didn't go out exactly according to plan, I think I could have like had a really strong game if I just switch out to Miraidon and immediately high horsepower. I thought they would have respected that. I thought they were going to protect Miraidon. Rillaboom maybe switches out or just U-turns there, but no, they didn't respect Treads. And then I got them on the next turn because they didn't respect Treads, because I'm like, okay, you're gonna disrespect Treads again, and they disrespected Treads again. But yeah, dodging around the Raging Bolt was a little bit annoying, but thankfully we were still able to come out on top. If they didn't get the 5-hitter, I think it was just to save Brave Bird at that point, because I think Hoa would have lived the Thunderclap. But yeah, that's not how it worked. We were still able to clean up in the end. All right, we got a Moongus, Chien POW, Raging Bolt, Tornado, Zamazenta, and Calyx Shadow Rider. A pretty standard Calyx Shadow Rider Zamazenta team with the Torn edition, which, okay. I'm curious if this is Nasty Plot or Encore, because Torn would make me think it'd be Nasty Plot, although usually like these builds run Encore with Raging Bolt, Chien POW, Moongus. So I'm kind of curious, but Ho is just really good against this team across the board. I really do love Chien POW plus the Ho is like a really strong lead here against them. And what do I want in the back? Do I want to play defensive? I kind of want to play aggressive if possible. I kind of like Miraidon, of course, and Urshifu. Because pressuring the Calyx Shadow Rider is like priority number 1, and Scarf Urshifu is always a great mon to pressure it. But we do have to watch out. The Raging Bolt is scary, but let's see what the response is. It's going to be the lead of the Torn Zama. Okay. Torn Zama versus Ho-Oh plus the Chien POW, which I think that this is an okay combination right here. I could go for Tailwind, or I could go for Sacred Fire immediately. I like the idea of just going for the Sacred Fire and Crash, I think. Yeah, I like the idea of Sacred Fire and Crash turn 1. They don't have any good switches to Crash. I think I live Life Orb, Astral Barrage afterward. Oh, this is perfect. Unless they're Sash Torn, although usually it's Sash Calyx or Sash POW. Oh my. That's such a bad miss. They went for Heavy Slam in case it goes, but that is such a bad miss. On the bright side, I'll get a Sacred Fire off, but like, that's such a bad miss. Okay. I get the burn, which is helpful. I don't know how helpful, but we'll see, I suppose. All right. I'm going to go for a Sacred Fire into the Torn, and I'm just going to protect the POW. Yeah, getting rid of the Torn, preventing Tailwind would have been lovely. Would have been lovely, but unfortunately, that is not the world we're living in. They're going to go for Tailwind and KO the POW, I assume, so they can keep Torn around. Then we're going to play an interesting game the next turn. Yep, they body press that slot. Do I want to Sucker Punch the Torn or not? I don't know if I do. Good damage. No burn on the Torn, which actually would have been helpful. I don't need Miraidon crazy healthy in this matchup. I don't know if I want to take a knockout, though. That's a problem. If I take a knockout, it could get ugly. Because Shadow Rider gets in for free, and then I'm scared of it. but I don't have a really good switch here. I guess I can just Sacred Fire and swap out into Miraidon. I'm trying to think of how to play around this because I don't want to Sucker Punch a Torn because I might go down the helmet and that would be really bad. I think going Miraidon makes sense in Sacred Firing the Zama, but I'm not 100% certain on this. Oh, they body press my Ho-Oh. Wait, and Bleakwind? Oh, because like if I'm assuming it's Rocky Helmet. Okay, so I don't really take too much damage here. Because I do get the Sacred Fire off and KO the Zama. Okay, this is not an awful spot. Not an awful position. Not ideal. I do shake off the taunt, which is nice because I can go for my Tailwind if I really want to. We're going to see... That's not Calyrex, is it? Oh, that is Calyrex. Okay. I was like, they should always have Calyrex. Always should. I think we live Life Orb Astral Barrage plus Bleakwind with both. The Life Orb one is kind of scary to deal with, but I think we just go for a Sacred Fire, and I think we just go for a Volt Switch. I think I Volt Switched a Torn, because there is a chance what Torn... Oh, wait, is this Terra Ghost? Is this Specs? I mean, it could just be Terra Ghost Astral Barrage with Sash, but... Not 100% certain on this. Okay. They go for a taunt again, which is perfect. They didn't go for Bleakwind damage. Perfect. I should live both. Like, this is just Astral Barrage, Ghost, Terra, which isn't like crazy strong. Okay. Yeah, I live with both. I need to hit the Sacred Fire. I guess I don't have to, but it would be way easier to win this game if I hit Sacred Fire here. All right, I'm going to swap out. We're going to go out into Chien Pao. Yes, we're going to go into Chien Pao. As we get the Sword of Ruin, so we do more damage with the Sacred Fire to put in range of Aqua Jet guaranteed. Nice. Big Sacred Fire into the Calyrex. Huge damage. And we get the burn on top. The burn helps secures it, but I don't think it's necessary because I do have a bunch of priority mons in the back. But let's see what the last mon was, because I'm kind of curious on what the last mon is. Raging Bolt? No, it's Pow. Okay, no, they just lost to Ursh back once Tailwind expired. Like, they had no answer to beat Ursh once Tailwind expired. So, yeah, Miraidon is absolutely useless in this endgame, so I'm going to sack Miraidon. I'm just going to protect the Pow, and we're going to bring in Ursh because we have Scarf Ursh, so Scarf Ursh will be able to clean up and win the game. I guess I should Aqua Jet just to be safe because, like, on the off chance that this is Scarf Calyrex Shadow Rider. Okay, it's not Scarf Calyrex Shadow Rider because of Protect. It's like I have seen Scarf Calyrex Shadow Rider on the ladder. But now I don't have to go for that. So we'll sack our Miraidon here as they go for Ice Spinner. That's fine. I don't even need Pow to win this game. Like, even if we lose both of these mons here, they still can't beat Ursh once Tailwind expired. So yeah, I'm just gonna go for attacks. I'm just gonna Volt Switch and I'm gonna Sucker. They're probably gonna Sucker my Pow with their Chien Pao. And they'll probably go for Astral. Okay, they don't do that. They go for Sucker Punch, but I mean, still fine. Like, again, even if, like, there is no burn or anything, like, Scarf Ursh just cleaned up. Like, they have no way to beat Ursh. What did they do with the Calyrex? Oh, it is Encore. Okay. It's interesting to see Encore on a Tailwind build because it's a lot less offensive, but I mean, it still works out for me. Yeah, I'm just going to go out into Ursh. They don't even have Crash. So if they were Scarf Crash on Pow, I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, we go for U-turn. I'm going to swap Pow out into Ho-Oh. Actually, why did I do this? I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. Like, Ursh just wins. Like, Ursh literally just wins. They can't do anything here. I was searching here if I didn't get the burn, but yeah, it doesn't matter because Scarf Ursh outspeeds the Shadow Rider, and that's just the lovely thing about Scarf Ursh is just pressuring these Calyrex Shadow Riders. Sucker Punch. I mean, I guess I technically made the best play possible. Like, I did make the best play possible. I do U-turn, but yeah, Scarf Ursh just reveals that, like, I had the game guaranteed locked. There was nothing they could do to stop Ursh from sweeping this team. Even if they Sucker Punch crit my Ursh here, nowhere near enough. Even if they Sucker Punch crit again, I don't think 2 crit Sucker Punches knocks out Ursh, and I'd be able to just spam attacks. I also, like, have several mons that can just hit the POW, so. Bring out the Chien POW. But the game is over because we go for a Throat Chop just to guarantee break Sash, and we Brave Bird. Like, there's so much we have in the back with Scarf Ursh just locking it up. It does not matter at this point. So they're gonna go for Ice Spinner. That doesn't even knock in my hole, and yeah, we're gonna even be able to knock at the POW, which is Brave Burst. So really a rough start. Like, it was a really rough start because we could have had this game no Tailwind, and then Scarf Ursh was just super easy to clean up. Like, the thing I was worried about was Raging Bolt back because of the threat of Thunderclap. I'm really surprised we didn't see the Raging Bolt brought in this game, but across the board, it just made my life a lot easier because I didn't have to go for like an Aqua Jet. Like, because I got the Sacred Fire damage off into the Calyrex, I didn't have to worry about like playing Aqua Jet Mind Games with Thunderclap or playing Thunderclap Mind Games in general. Because I didn't have to lock into Surging because I didn't get damaged. But yeah, just beautiful across the board. And yeah, like, surprised that they brought Torn and executed the plan like this. But again, it works out. Or at least Torn without Raging Bolt. Because I really thought that they were going to bring Raging Bolt because pressure against my Miraidon. And yeah, like the Zama lead into Ho-Oh was just interesting because I don't think it really paid off. It really didn't. But maybe they were really scared of POW, which was pretty scary to them. If it hits. If it hits. But yeah, luckily Ho-Oh was able to hit its Sacred Fires, which was the important part here. All right, let's go over to games. In game 1, I think I might have played a bit too aggressive at times where I just ended up getting into some protect targets and getting fake out rotated. But at the end of the day, they didn't respect my Scarf Urshifu, and Scarf Urshifu was just in such an amazing spot where I was able to knock out the Calyrex Shadow Rider, and then afterward, it just felt really solid because they just were not able to get knockouts while my Urshifu was just able to put on a lot of pressure with that Choice Scarf, Terra Water, Surging Strikes. In game 2, Covert Cloak on the Miraidon came in clutch as they faked out my Miraidon but lost to Giratina, and that was the biggest threat to my team. And once from there, I was just able to snowball because they really couldn't be able to beat my restrictors from there. In game 3, it was a weird matchup as the Basculation was just awkward, especially with the Choice Span. But I was able to eliminate the Kyogre, and after getting a few turns right, I was just able to knock out the Chien POW, and then thankfully no double protect, but I still don't know what the best odds were between, oh, should I just KO the Basculation and not risk the double protect, or is there body press? Because if body press came out, could have been very awkward. So there was that. Also, there's Sacred Fire chance burn, but again, I'm not exactly sure what gives me the best odds there of just hoping that they don't get a double protect or going for the Sacred Fire burn, which, you know, it's 30% and then 50%. So yeah, in game 4, this was a very rough hyper offensive team to play against, and unfortunately the lead was just super difficult. I think I made the right calls I needed to do in order to have a chance even, but unfortunately Iron Treads was not able to one-shot the Zacian on their side with the Sword of Ruin support alongside the Life Orb. In game 5, let me just say they did not respect the Iron Treads. I could have just easily switched to Miraidon, got the speed boost, high horsepower KO to Koraidon. It would have been a good game. But you know what? I had a feeling of what they were going to make after I saw that play in the first time. I got them right. And then I was just able to play around the Raging Bolt afterward and secure the victory that way. Although it did get a little bit scary. I think I probably messed up a little bit of the lines, especially by letting Ho-Oh go down. But I really thought they were going to be trapped into Thunderclap. In game 6, very bad miss at the start. But thankfully, my Choice Scarf Urshifu was just able to beat their entire team once the Tailwind was over because the Zamazenta was burned, knocked out, the Torn was taken care of. So I really didn't have much to fear. Thankfully, just worked out. So how was the team? It was a bit strange to pilot, especially because Covert Cloak Miraidon is really good into the fake out mons, but of course it is just having weakness if you are fighting different teams. And I felt we played a lot more of offensive teams, especially in this one. So yeah, it ended up being an item that can be really good in some situations. And the tournament, I believe the Invitational that this team did perform in was actually an open team sheet best of 3 tournaments. So Covert Cloak even being strong in those matchups. However, yeah, team was pretty decent. If you want to try out the team, you can try it out with the rental code on your screen. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.